The Vigil issue 3 Ram V rating with the Elite Kumar Sharma on the art. And there was a credit for some finishes as well, for a few pages. But the this book's been
Sid Koshin for the finishes.
There you
It's
go.
like half the issue, give or take.
But this has been very good. It's interesting how each issue is kind of focused on a different character primarily, and this kind of does the same thing again. This mostly is looking at our liaison character, but also kind of our shapeshifter character, in that the shapeshifter takes the form of Mia throughout the issue, basically to investigate her and see if she's trustworthy by seeing if she ever talks about her work to her mother, her friends, or potential dates. In fact, it sounds like he goes on a date with a guy as her, where clearly she was not going to date this guy again because it sounds like the first one didn't go that well. But he's doing this to fish for information, and so it's kind of like. As this is going on, because she keeps commenting in her kind of like narration whilst they're on this mission in the middle of the jungle, why is that guy not here? It's weird. But it's because he's been tasked with investigating her the entire time, which him sneaking into her bedroom and putting his mask on her face to steal her
so creepy.
It's very creepy.
Yeah, and then obviously the end result being like, yeah, we can probably trust her, but here's some extra leverage as well, just in case.
Yeah, she's got a sick dad in a nursing home. We could probably threaten him if need be. So yeah, the actual morality of this group is still kind of up in the air to exactly where it lands.
Like, it's not shades of gray, because I would say it to me it goes more towards dark, but yeah, it is still in question.
I think it's very clear they are not bound by typical morality in that they will, get stuff done. I think the only thing that remains to be seen is, are they actually on the good side as they claim to be?
Yeah,
I'm not sure I trust that part of it.
Yeah. So the main team though are going to these ruins in the jungle, and it turns out there's this old man hooked up to machinery. And it's his dreams that are basically forming this like temple that's there, which includes some floating like parts and everything. And it's this happened to him a long time ago, where they hooked him up to this machine, and they're here, and that's the kind of the technology they're here to destroy and get rid of. So it's them fighting all these like sort of, I don't know.
They find out that they're people though, right? Like, because Arclight, or is it Arclight, or is it the other? Or no, it's Dodge. One of them knocks into one of them, and it knocks the mask off, and it looks like they're just regular people.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just assumed there were people under there, I guess, the whole time. And we also get a little bit more on was it Castle was his name? The smaller member of the team who has no empathy or sympathy and is very cold and logical.
He's like, reason the person, right? Like. But the thing that got me there was the note that he's on the Vigil, so he's not on another team, which that was very chilling.
Yeah. No, to sort of just expand on that, Mia says that she asked the doctor why he's even on this team, and his response is simply that so he wouldn't be on someone else's team.
It's just to keep an eye on him more than anything.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't want him playing for the opposition, so he's here. Regardless of being a little scary and cool.
Yeah, so they get into this technology that the whatever group that's responsible had gotten this shaman and hooked him up into some, major wattage, and because he got into this trance-like state that he could bring dreams across the realms, right? And so he's been dreaming for how many years? It's decades. And so it's that Castle kid or guy is the one that they bring in to put this guy out of his misery, which that was another chilling moment where he just takes the, what is it, whatever, it's a knife or something and does it, where the guy's like, please, I want to just close my eyes. It's been forever. I was like, damn, Ram V, this is more nightmare fuel
Than all the Nightmare books, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is just begging for death. He's basically been forced to be. This is not something he chose to do or wanted to do. This is something he's been clockwork oranged into this awful position, where his eyes are just been sort of held open the entire time. Yeah, that stuff's solid. I really liked where the shapeshifter Saya comes to speak to Mia, because Mia is like finishing a report. And then she goes to close her laptop, and the last thing she says is like, "Yeah, but Saya's the weird one who they've not even spoke to me. They've not said a single word to me." Right. And she closes the laptop, and he's sitting right there, and like basically just casually says, "Oh, it's nice to work with you." And I don't know if that's just saying that. Oh, like over the last couple of days of like snooping on her life, they've become like empathetical towards her.
Yeah, but
I took it as more. Okay, he's decided now that, okay, you know, we can trust Nia, so it's fine. She's going to be actually part of the team now, so might as well actually, you know, introduce herself. But up until this point, I assume it was taking the approach of, probably not going to last anyway, what's the point?
Yeah, I
also took it that Saya is this person that, because the nature of their powers, being in pain and doing this, they're more of an empathetic person than the other two field agents, right? Because they have to infiltrate people, right? Yeah. They're not out there being the blunt instrument. So I just feel like waiting, like we talk about, we don't know what side they're on, the shades of gray. I feel like Saya is more on the side of the angels than maybe some of the other ones, just by nature. The nature of the power. That's how I took that interaction.
I did like, as they're sitting talking, that they've got very, very similar hair, which, you know, feeds into like the idea that Saya has altered their hair to match hers to go with the face, and it's not, you know, like, I don't know, there was just something surreal about it, like the sort of thing where, well, Mia noticed that their hair is very similar. I kind of like that. Yeah, the issue starts with Saya like waking up with two women. You don't realize that it's them at first, and then the face starts to melt and the mask goes on to like fix it, and it's like, oh, okay, I know who we are now.
I just like the visual of it as well. It's kind of cool. Just really creepy.
And then one of the women's like, "Why are you leaving? Stay with us." And he's like, "No, I need to go right now." And it's because the time's up. Like the amount of time they can keep their face in shape
before they have to form another one. Yeah, I also like how they just keep the mask in whatever bag that's closest. Because that adds a whole other, you know, like they always have to keep this mask on them, right? Because that's how they keep their form. So, yeah, but no, it's a very good issue, and we get into too, like they at the end there, whatever technology they're looking for at Luthor Core, right, is being used somewhere close.
To the point where Lightless, who gives them their information, has contacted them. When normally they don't do that. Normally they have no contact rule, but here they've directly contacted them, because normally it's like couriers and messages and all sorts.
We just see like a bit of like someone in a tank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
so
not creepy at all.
This is definitely like, I would say this is like Checkmate meets Doom Patrol very much, where there are these weird characters.
It's not a bad way of describing it.
Like a bit of an edge, but there's also all of this espionage and Black Ops undercurrent to go with it that makes it unique.
The cliffhanger to this issue feels more like we're getting into like just straight up plot next time, and in the sense that these past few issues have all felt a lot more like character focused, and maybe it makes sense now to like go into a bit more of what the end game of the miniseries is.
We're gonna have to. We're over halfway now. It has to start moving towards that.
But you know, I do think this feels written to me like there's a hope of more in some capacity, whether it is just a sequel miniseries or something else. It feels like there's enough setup going into these characters that it's not just for whatever the 6-issue series is.
Yeah, I think with the sales seemingly what they are, I'm not banking on another mini. But with Ramvi being exclusive, I would not be surprised to see him show up elsewhere. Maybe even in his detective.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because they've been popping up here and there, right?
All right. I mean, who knows? Maybe he signed the exclusive contract because he's like, hey, give me X issues, more of this. And
I mean, like, he wouldn't be the first creator to sign a contract that was part of the stipulations.
He just a little sweeten the deal, you know. Here's what we're going to pay you. Here's this, that, and also.
I mean, even someone like Bendis had that with well, I assume had that with his Jinx World stuff.
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
I'll come exclusive for you. I'll write, some of the big heavy hitters. We'll get some sales on that. But in return, you let me do a couple of minis of this and that. I maybe I'm off base there and making that assumption, but it felt like that to me in terms of the agreement that they had.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't shock me. But I am very much enjoying it. Really good issue. I think, admittedly, I think the first issue is still my favorite because the first issue was structurally so well done of setting up so many things and making it all feel like it crescendoed. Like, it was such a masterclass of that. But that's just like, I think that craft is still here with the way these two stories are intertwining. You know, I think that contrast between Saya's investigation, and you're kind of wondering like what's going on exactly. I think it becomes more clear as it's, you know, like what exactly the purpose of this is, of like pretending to be her. But then and that plus the actual, you know, the action of getting to this, like, you know, person who's strapped up to the dream machine, you know, is interesting. So, but yeah, so Matt, what are you giving the Vigil issue 3?
I'm gonna give this a solid 8.
Connor?
I'm gonna give it a 7. No, 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the 8 as well. I think the Vigil's been a really, really solid book.